Final topic. I told you I had a bullshit topic. This is the bullshit topic. Um, so I have two children. Greg has a daughter. Um, I heard this question on Old Man the Three, JJ Redick's podcast. They asked him what he would do if his kid went to UNC. Would you rather your child become an icon for your rival school, where it's like, Greg, let's say your daughter becomes the Caitlin Clark of Michigan State. Would you rather that happen, or knowing that your favorite school will never win anything of significance ever again?
Oh man. So an easy answer for me, but it's because I'm a mutant. Like my brain doesn't work the way fan brains are supposed to. I would much rather my daughter go to Michigan State. In fact, with this hypothetical, even if all the like Caitlin Clark stuff was aside, if she wasn't even a basketball player, if I could choose where my daughter goes to school between Michigan, the school I root for, and Michigan State, the school I went to, I would want my daughter to go to Michigan State. Like that's the decision I made. I loved it there. I have nothing negative to say about my time at Michigan State, and I have a lot negative about, from what I've heard, the experience is like going to Michigan. So, but I'm a mutant. Like I said, my brain doesn't work the way it's supposed to. So this was a fantastic question. I just am in no place to give a good answer. I want Cart's answer though.
Yeah, this is a fantastic question for me. On the contrary, so the second option, like, so let's my daughter or my son doesn't go to Michigan and becomes an icon. What's the other option?
The other option is Michigan State never wins anything of importance ever again.
Mm. You know, I feel like this would be a lot easier if I actually had the fatherly connection and had a child. Like I would actually feel this a little bit more. But I think I'd want them to go be an icon at Michigan. I think that would be my answer pretty easily. Now, with that said, my level of support for that would be very minimal. I'm not going to games. I don't want to go to Ann Arbor.
That's absurd, man. Come on.
They're an icon, so I don't got to sign any checks or anything. Everything at school's free. I'll move them in. I will exit. I don't like Ann Arbor. No one likes it. No one actually likes Ann Arbor. The city of Ann Arbor stinks. It does.
No
It
comment
does.
on that, but like I feel all you're doing is adding a chip to your daughter or son's shoulder here. Like, oh, my dad never came to my games. My dad was a horrible father.
That's a chip that needed. I have long had a theory that I ended up at Albion at Division 3 because my father was too supportive. Like I knew at every single game in high school, I looked up and he was there.
You need something to drive
I love
them.
him for it.
You need something to drive them to become that icon. They need to earn their father's love.
Right. I couldn't get a chip on my shoulder. Like whether I missed a layup or not, like my dad was gonna give me a hug after the game. I don't want that.
Blaming your father for being a great loving dad as the reason why you didn't reach your full potential is so wild.
I mean, it's facts.
I will say, so I am a South Carolina alum. We don't win anything of significance anyway. So I would take that rather than seeing like my son suit up and play quarterback for Clemson and like lead them to 2 national championships. That's a no for me.
But think about
South not win anything anyway.
Think about how much more fun your son's life would be though. Like, because is the alternative? He just lives a normal life versus like a superstar quarterback.
Yeah, but Clemson, you're like living in fields with farmers and
But you could actually win something though. Like how fun was that Final Four run for South Carolina?
Well, see, that's the thing. It was a lot of fun, but then it didn't win anything of significance. You could do that again. I would rather him be point guard for South Carolina and make the second round of the tournament than be TO, except TO leading Clemson to a national championship. I would much rather.
That's crazy. That's crazier wishing Michi Johnson career path onto your son.
I think a big part of the actual decision of this hypothetical would be if you choose the side where your team doesn't win, do you know ahead of time that your team's not going to win? Because that would sap all the fun out of watching the sport, right? Like if you don't have the hope that your team can win, you lose interest in the whole thing.
That's a great point. We'll say no, you don't know that.
If you don't know that, I think it's easier to make that decision because then you still have the hope. You just don't know your heart's going to get ripped out and you died 80 years from now realizing, oh, well, we gave it our best shot. Like, that's fine.
Which is probably going to happen for most of us anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
That's just life.
Yeah.
Exactly. Who do you think, well, the obvious answer between our three teams is Michigan State is going to win a title first. But, Cart, between South Carolina or Michigan, who will win a basketball national championship first?
South Carolina. South Carolina.
Okay.
Just because the situation at Michigan is dire in this age. It really is. Like, does South Carolina like at least have like some NIL and things like that and like support?
Not for
Lamont,
basketball.
Lamont Paris have a bunch of support.
We have an 18,000 person arena for the women's team. Men just play there.
I don't know. Greg, wouldn't you say South Carolina?
I don't know, man. I feel like both.
I would say Michigan.
You would?
Yeah.
It's hard to see that in the Juwan Howard NIL era, but there's probably an era after that could make it happen. I don't know, man. It's sad being so far away, which is why you should pick your daughter or son to go be a star. We're never going to win anything anyway. Let's take the fun route, right?
Yeah, be happy through your child.
But now that's what you said. Then we're loving our child, Cart. We're not supposed to love our child if we want to drive our child to be great.
See, they can be a good player for your school and still have a professional career. They just won't be, this icon winning championships and, being the main story on SportsCenter.
That makes sense. Also, Brian, who do we have in the background? Who is this superstar that just emerged on the bed behind you?
Yeah, that's my dog, Coco. She's 12 pounds and thinks everything revolves around her.
Round of applause for Coco.
I'm kind of upset that it doesn't have like a South Carolina name. Like, couldn't you name it like wow? Couldn't you name it like Marshawn Lattimore? Like an old
Marcus Lattimore?
Yeah. Oh boy.
So her name was supposed to be, this is kind of dumb. I'm kind of glad we didn't name her this, but her name was supposed to be Cola, which is like the shortened version of Columbia that everybody in Columbia calls it. My wife went to pick her up and she left with, we're going to call her Cola. And then she comes through the door and she's like, oh, here's Coco.
And from that day forward.
And it just, couldn't stop because it had already happened.